Om Partaya Atibodhitam Bhagavatam Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Kratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitaamritavarshini Bhagavate Ashtadashadhyayini Amba Tvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavatveshini. Om, O Bhagavad Gita, it was through thy help that Narayana, the Lord himself, brought enlightenment to Arjuna. Afterwards, Vyasa, the sage of ancient times, incorporated thee in the Mahabharata. O goddess, through thy 18 chapters, thou showerest the immortal nectar in this mortal world and delivers souls. O goddess, I meditate on thee. Chapter 15 of the Bhagavad Gita. It's called the Purushottama Yoga. That is the chapter, the yoga of the Supreme Person, Purusha and Uttama, the Supreme Person. For those who are new, a brief recap is essential, and then we can go into the chanting. This entire existence, visible existence and invisible existence, is likened to a tree. And it's always found that we can take an example and use that as an illustration to explain what is existence. So in this chapter, it starts with this Ashwatha tree, the great tree of likened to existence, and its roots, its branches, and etc., are different parts of existence and life and the world and all these things. But the only difference is they make it, the roots are upwards. Generally, we see roots coming from down and goes up. But here, the roots are upwards. That's why it's called Urdhvamula Madashaka. And the branches are below. And it explains that why it is on top. It means its roots, its existence is from Brahman itself, from reality. They want to make it clear that everything that you see is from a divine origin. Whether you call it Big Bang, it's a material explanation of things. They make it very clear that its roots are above, from Brahman it comes down. So creation, you, me, and everybody who are in this tree have their origins from the divine. Why is it necessary to explain the tree, etc., etc.? Because if you don't have the correct understanding of this tree of existence, which is infinite, which is almost indestructible, etc., then you will not be able to reach that supreme being. And he's laying out the whole scheme of existence of individual life, and that God or the supreme state of Vishnu is in around the root, the stem, the branch, in every part of existence. So those who have the Bhagavad Gita can chant the first verse, and then we will go slowly down to, and I'll read the translation. So what is, a lot of people, they don't understand Sanskrit. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Urdhvamulamadash Ashwattam Prahur Avyayam Chandansi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Savedave. They say that this people tree, which has its roots upwards and its branches downwards, and of which the Vedas are the leaves, is imperishable. One who realizes it is a knower of the Vedas. Take the second verse. Adascha urdhvam prasitatasya shaka guna pravriddha vishaya pravala adascha mulan anusantatani karmanubandhini manushya loke. The branches of that tree, extending downwards and upwards, are strengthened by the gunas and have the sense objects as their shoots. And the roots, which are followed by karma, spread downwards in the human world. Na rupamasya tato palabhyate nanto na chadir na cha sampratishta ashvatamenam suvirudamulam asanga shastrena dridena chitva. Its form is not perceived here in that way, nor its end, nor its beginning, nor its continuation. After cutting this people whose roots are well developed with a strong sword of detachment. Tata padam tat parimargitavyam yasmin gatana nivartanti bhuya tameva chadyam purusham prapadye yata pravritti prasita purani. Thereafter, that state has to be sought after, going where they do not return again. I take refuge in that primeval Purusha himself, from whom has ensured the eternal manifestation. Nirmana moha jita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kamaha dvandvair vimukta sukha sangnei gacchantyamuda padamavyayam tat. The wise ones who are free from pride and non-discrimination, who have conquered the evil of association, who are ever devoted to spirituality, completely free from desires, free from the dualities called happiness and sorrow, reach that undecaying state. So we'll do a parayana of these verses, just a Sanskrit. Okay. So this is just for the practice. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Urdhvamulamadasyakam Ashvattam Prahur Avyayam Chandansi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Saveda Ved Adascha Urdhvam Prasitatasya Shakaha Guna Pravriddha Vishaya Pravalaha Adascha Mulan Anusantatani Karmanubandhini Manusya Loke Narupamasya Tatopalabhyate Nanto Nachadir Nachasam Pratishta Ashvatamenam Suviruda Moolam Asanga Shastrena Dridena Chitva Tata Padam Tat Parimargitavyam Yasmin Gatana Nivartanti Bhuyaha Tameva Chadyam Purusham Prapadye Yata Pravritti Prasita Purani Nirmana Moha Jita Sanga Dosha Adhyatma Nitya Vinivrita Kama Dvandvair Vimukta Sukha Dukkha Sangneir Gacchantya Muda Padamavyayanta. The preceding two verses show that this whole tree of existence, whose form cannot be understood. This world is very, very complex. It's just impossible to know. That's what it means. Na rupamasya tatopa upalabdhyate. It's extremely difficult. There was one time when Swamiji, he's quoting John Stuart Mill, saying, this world is the devil's place. I would have created a better world. Ramakrishna looked at him. How much of the world do you know that you can say this? And Swamiji kept quiet. How much of the world do we know? We know very little. And we think we can take care of this world. It's impossible. Only, Holy Mother says, only God is omniscient, Sarvajna, in this world of Maya. So this existence is complex. So many factors are there. There are millions of factors all working. And that is giving rise to this, what we are now. There are plenty of factors. Even on star exploding there, supernova is going to affect you. So, so that's why you say its form is not perceived here in that way, nor its end, nor beginning, nor its continue. Nobody can know it. And especially us, we are individual souls with little knowledge. The jivas are called alpa jnana, that is little knowledge. And yet we think we'll fix this world. Yeah, people have been saying that, and people have been trying to fix it, and it's not getting fixed up. And we go with our bandages and our band-aids and we fix the world. So that's why he says this whole existence has to be cut, however, with the strong sword of detachment. So where is the rule? Where is the branch where you have to cut? Yeah, that is within you. You don't have to go run about here. It's there. So he will explain this. And what happens? How do you experience that state? So there's a prayer that says, thereafter, that state has to be sought after. This state of Vishnu has to be sought after. Going there, they do not return. And how you pray? I take refuge in that primeval, that Adi Purusha, from whom this ensured, this eternal manifest. The entire universe, and this universe, there are many universes. There's the universe of bacteria, we don't know. We think, so many universes there, and each one is stacked over the other, and it is a vast. There are the invisible, the subtle worlds. There are other subtle worlds down below this. So what we are seeing is only one small bandwidth of this universe. And that also, what we see outside is not known. So what science is saying now, this world outside is not exactly what you see. It is, your brain is only having a representative idea of this world outside. The senses are kind of taking you for a ride every time. So this whole thing is unknown, but you don't want to be here. You want to go to that state. And that state is of that primeval Purusha, from where all this whole thing has come out. Everything that has ever existed, will ever exist, has its divine source. So your goal is to go there. Now, where do you go there? We might think we go to heaven. Yeah, that state is here inside. So the tree, which is the roots upwards and down below, all the leaves and branches and twigs and this and that, and the souls are so many beings inside. Why upside down? Yeah, because we are seeing this world upside down. We are thinking, oh, it is all right. No, it's not all right. You're not seeing this world correctly. You're not seeing existence correctly. Like when you go to the banks of a river or a lake, you see some trees, the reflection. So this entire universe is a reflection, as it were, of that real tree. So we are seeing it upside down, but we are thinking, no, we are correct. Ramakrishna, in one place, he says, see what a funny thing this is. The root of a man is here, and it is up here. You should have been down. Imagine your head being down there. hand walking, doing a headstand. So the idea is we are not seeing it correctly. Why? Because we are seeing it as the world. If you see it, you're going to see it as divine. There is that one consciousness which is there. Because we cannot see it, that is why, as they say, they're seeing it ulta. Okay. This is the idea. So this is the state one has to reach. I take refuge. Why do you have to take refuge? Yeah, you got to take refuge. Because suddenly you're overwhelmed with all this massive existence, which is incomprehensible. You just can't understand what's happening. So you take refuge. Sri Ramakrishna says, if you have a string of zeros, it has no values. But if you put one, then everything has a value. All the zeros have a value. So if you put God in everything, then your life and works and your thoughts and everything will have value. Otherwise, it's meaningless. The world of Maya. And now, who can they give you qualification? Bhagwan is giving you a qualification. Who is fit to attain to that state? Right. The fifth one is the wise ones, Muda, the ones who are not a fool. The translator is a bit wise. The one who is not a fool, who are free from pride and non-discrimination. Nirmana and moha. Moha is delusion actually. Mana is pride. Nir with without pride and without delusion. Who have conquered the evil of association. Jita Sangha Dosha. Jita is to conquer, to win. Sangha is actually attachments. The faults, the dosha of attachment. One who has conquered the faults of attachment. Because the human mind is such, if I sit down here for a couple of hours and then I come again here and say, I'll get attached to this also. Somehow, the mind wants to get attached to things here, there. So this person has conquered that fault of getting attached. Adhyatma Nitya, that is, oh, I did japa today. Yeah. Then after next week I can do the next. No, that will not do. No, God sees us from that is just excuse. So Adhyatma Nitya is to be devoted constantly to Adhyatma. What is Adhyatma? Adhyatma is inside. There are three levels. Adidaiva, Adibhauta, and Adhyatma. Adidaiva is things which are in the divine realm, which is not in your control. Adibhauta, there. It's snowing or raining. That's not in your hands. Mm-hmm. Adhyatma, there, it's in your hands. But many people say Adhyatma is the body. No, it's not the body. In Indian philosophy, the body is only an outer covering. There is an inner covering called a mind. And there's a third covering inside. And beyond all these coverings is something called consciousness. So, Adhyatma, people think, oh, Adhyatma is the body. Yeah. So properly speaking, Adhyatma is the more inwards you go, the more spiritual you are. Now, inwards is I brewed on some cake or coffee. That's how I'm inwards. Sometimes People have hallucinations and they're also inwards. No, we're not talking about those things. The more inwards you go, the more clear your answers become. The more you are in control of yourself. So Adhyatma Nitya is to be devoted to Adhyatma, spiritual practices. And Vinivritta Kama, they are free from desires. What desires? You look at everything and then you want, there's a subtle desire that comes. Hey, that's nice. Oh, yeah. This is nice. That is nice. This is not nice. This is good. We are made to love. Stupidly. Everything we like, everything we love. So those people have conquered that. You know why? It's very strange. If you would not love, you would not be caught. You have to catch you, no? Maya has to catch you. That is it. Love your work, love your this, love your that, love your this. That is good. Yeah. So that person has conquered Vinivritta Kam. And then Dvandvaya Vimukta, free from the dualities. Heat, cold, pain, pleasure, joy, sorrow. This person is like balanced in these dualities. And then this person, Gachanti, attains a Muda, that's a non-fool, that supreme undecaying state. So these are the qualifications. Listen, now people watch a little YouTube and they say we are fit for serious spiritual disciplines. Yeah. It will happen. Go ahead. Watch a little more YouTubes. At one point of time, due to God's grace, suddenly you want to know what are you doing? Where are you going? And then you start your spiritual disciplines. Because these are questions that cannot be answered by all these books. Only by Adhyatma literature. Books that speak about your inner nature. Swamiji says there are two types of literature. The Vada and Siddhanta. Vada is deliberative. Does God exist? What is his form? What is his name? Where does he stay? All things which are just discussions. All discussion. There are plenty of discussion. And the Siddhanta is conclusive. Sri Ramakrishna says, I have seen God. I have talked to him. Vedaham etam purusham mahantam. In the Vedas, they say, I have seen this great Purusha. These are conclusive. They are using reason or logic or all these things. What is the nature of God and this and that? They are not philosophical books. They are conclusive. I have seen. These are the books are called the Adhyatma literature. That which is the spiritual literature. These are the books that one should read. So one time, Swami Vijnanananda, so he was Sri Ramakrishna's disciple. And so he asked Sri Ramakrishna, Sir, have you read this Kant, Immanuel Kant and all these German philosophers? So Sri Ramakrishna says, what are you talking about? All these books are written in Ajnana, in ignorance. Throw those books away. Yeah, Vijnananda takes all his books and throws it in the Ganges. There. Over. So people are in ignorance and they are writing big books. So many books have been written. These are all vada. These are just discussions. They're useless for Adhyatma. In Adhyatma literature, you want to be sure. Suppose I say, Have you seen the Arctic Circle? No. How do you know that exists if you haven't gone there? But I've seen pictures. So the pictures could be Photoshop. No, I've met somebody who went there. So that's a proof. In in one of the 6 proofs, how do we know? There is something called Shabda Praman. Pramana is evidence. The others are there, 5. This one especially is important. Somebody who has seen is telling you. So some saints and all these things, the great rishis have said, I have seen it. That becomes evidence. Now, you must see the character of that person, okay? Otherwise, every fool might say, I have seen that. You don't believe that. So that evidence, the Shabda Praman, that is what scriptures are. The scriptures is nothing but evidence. These books, Bhagavad Gita, no, it's an evidence. It's a Praman. How do you know? It's a maybe this fellow is wrong. Maybe. But this very thing has been repeated by the experience has been recapitulated or has been authenticated over thousands and thousands of years. This very thing has been proven. So you have a whole history of people who have it. So that's a Shabda Praman. So this is what is it. Now the 6th verse where we are going to start with. We can chant this verse. Na tad bhasayate suryo na shashanko na pavakaha yadgatvan nivartante tadhama paramam mama. We'll chant it once more. Na tad bhasayate suryo na shashanko na pavakaha yadgatvan nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Neither the sun, nor the moon, nor fire illumines that. That is my supreme abode, reaching which they do not return. So this verse in the Bhagavad Gita, the 6th verse, is a kind of similar to what is found in the Kathopanishad. Na tatra suryo bhati, na chandra tarakam, nema vidyut bhati, kutoyam agni, tameva bhantam anubhati sarva, tasya basa sarvamidam vibhasi. So there also it is similar. Na suryo bhati, na chandra, no, the sun, the moon, the fire, the lightning that is mentioned there is not mentioned. So tameva bhantam, that shining, all these things shine. Tasya bhasa, by its illumination, everything becomes illumined. So this verse is, as I said, is a reflection of that verse in the Upanishad. So I'll read the translation. Neither the sun, nor the moon, nor fire illumines that. That is my supreme abode, reaching which they do not return. Now, most of us think that we want to understand things through material means, and the goal is somehow material. It's like I can go to heaven, Swargaloka, and there I'll take it easy. Really? I don't know if that's going to happen or not. The idea of happiness and taking it easy, these are all things, conceptions, which are of this world minus all the pains and problems and miseries. That is heaven. So there are other philosophies like the idea that it's an utopic idea. There's a place where everybody will be happy and nobody will be. So these are all material ideas. This is very clearly saying the sun, the moon, the fire cannot illumine this place. That is, the goal is not material but a spiritual goal. It cannot be material. It cannot be physical matter. It cannot be subtle matter. Even the mind. It cannot be higher level of mind also. That also is not there. So this state transcends everything. So why give 3 examples? So when the sun is up, yeah, and the sun sets and the moon gives light. And when the moon sets also and there's nothing, like it's a cloud, and the fire gives light. So there's a long chapter in one of the Upanishads called Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. So Antar Jyotir Brahmana. So King Janaka is asking Yagnavalkya, what serves as the light for man? The sun. And to the light of the sun, the person goes out, goes, works, and then returns. So when the sun has set, the moon gives light, and through that the person goes out, lives, works, and comes back. When the sun and moon have set, then what? Fire. To the light of the fire and we have today electricity, we go out, work, and come back. If all these things are set, that is sun, moon, fire, then what? Lightning. Even if lightning is not there, then what? Sound. Like even in the pitch darkness, somebody says, hey, come here, I'm standing here. You can go towards that. So even sound is a form of a kind of a light. And then when everything has set, everything, then what serves as light for man? His own Atman, his self. And you will see that it is actually this light which is within that makes you go out, talk, think, work, all these things. So all these external lights, when they are gone off, you will depend on this light. You will know that it is the light of the self. And that's why the Upanishad later says, in that state, the person himself becomes the light. The person himself is the light. So this light is not a material light. You can say, okay, this is a light of consciousness. Because consciousness shines. And that's why he's saying, Yad Gatva, by reaching there, that person does not come back. Nanivartante. What is that state? That supreme light that is my supreme abode. Tad Dhama Parama Mama. God's supreme abode. What God's supreme abode? Where is that God? Yeah, you don't have to go anywhere out there. It's that abode which is there within you. Sri Ramakrishna says, try to search where this I is. You keep on searching. Why? Because you have built your entire life, your entire career, your entire past and present and future also you are building on something called the I. But now try to search where this I is. I is not this I. The big I. You will find you cannot find that I. Yes. This is the challenge that is thrown by these scriptures. So Sri Ramakrishna said, try to search where is I. And you will find, searching for the I, you find God. This is what it is. So that once you reach there, you don't come back again here. I mean, come back in the sense, not back into this world of mortals, not in this great Ashwatha tree of existence. You have now known the secret. You do not come back. That is, you do not get a rebirth. Now, the future few verses, he'll speak about how we come back, because we have not learnt the lessons yet. Till you learn the lesson, yeah. And now here we have a young, budding spiritual aspirant. But wait. He has to go to school, he has to go to college, he has to this. So many things. Oh my God. So he has to go through all these experiences. Suddenly you'll say, I want to be a rishi. Wait. Yeah. Because he has to go through experience to come to that state. So many of us have to go through some experiences to come to that state. Now, do everybody has to go inside? No, if you're wise enough, you can avoid the whole thing. He cannot, of course. Hey, you go to school and college, okay? So Sri Ramakrishna says, when rice is being cooked, okay, so you can press one grain of rice and find all rice cooked or no. You don't have to keep on pressing every grain of rice. Oh, this is cooked, this is good. So once you understand, oh, this is the nature of this, okay, so you can understand the rest of it and you can stay away. You get knowledge. The rest of us, those who are still struggling, will have to come back again and again for lessons. Over and over again. Okay. So like he has to go through all the grades. Sorry, you cannot skip. So many of us, but now again here there's something called the grace of God. You can be taken immediately from this and you tell, I have had enough of this. Yes. Actually, you can tell God, I've been going around in circles. You know and I know also. Now I know. I don't want to get rid of this. Then, the Divine Mother will bring you a red toy. Come, take this. Get a bicycle. Get a this. Get a phone. Get this. And, oh, all right. You forget what you asked there. Yes, actually it happens like this. Oh, I want only God. And then suddenly you're meditating and the chocolate chip cookie thought comes. Where did it come? And then so God says, go and have a chocolate chip cookie. Yeah. Well, Sri Ramakrishna says, when the child is playing with the toys, the mother's cooking, she's all right. She has kept an eye on that. When the child takes a toy and throws it and starts crying, then the mother will take that rice which is cooking and keeps it down from the stove or from the fireplace and comes and lifts it. That is what you have got to do. You have to cry. That is where we need to come to this. So going there, we do not come back. What is this coming back? In the old days, there was these karma kandis, those who believed in all these very big sacrifices, the Vedic sacrifices. They used to say, Swarga kamo agnihotram juhuyat. If you want to go to heaven, do this agnihotra. Agnihotra was it's our daily sacrifice, 3-4 times a day, the fire sacrifice. If you want to go to heaven, you do. And then, so they used to say, you come, do the sacrifices, you go there, and you have to come back again and keep on doing, again go. What's your problem? You go and come. But this is like a lottery. You don't know you're going to come in the same place. You'll get a chance to do that same thing. And even if you go and come, and then you'll get tired. Now, I'm fed up of all these things. So that's where the renunciation comes. And then when renunciation comes, you'll say, enough for this. Going and coming, going and coming. If Maya would have let us just open and shown us a little of what we have done in the past, we'll say, enough. I've had enough. I've seen all these things. Now let's go. But Maya keeps you like this. Not letting you see the past, not letting you see the future also. Keep you there, focused. People say, there's I can memory of past lives. Will you be able to handle this first? And if you can handle it, then renunciation will come. Then you'll know, I was just a traveler. I was lost. And now I've understood I'm lost and I want to go back. This thing comes. When that person reaches that state of Vishnu, he will not come back. In the other chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, there are these two paths. One is the path of light and the path of darkness. Shukla and Krishna. So if you take the path of light, you go, you do not come back. And if you take the other path, dark one, you come back. You go and come back. And you go and come back over and over again. How many times? At least now, they say that about 8 million times you have come and you have gone. 8 million? What is this? Let's have another 10 million. So we have come here many times. We are not new. So, and this is the time when, those who have come to Shri Ramakrishna have that inner feeling. I've had enough. Let's go away now. That is the state of it. That's why I say. So it is not a material. Where is that you enter into that light? What is that light, that consciousness? And where is that consciousness? It is everywhere. You become everything. So in we can say, to explain things, Shri Ramakrishna himself is that light. That's why in the Arati Stava, the Vespers hymns of Shri Ramakrishna, Swamiji wrote, Chid Ghana Kai. Shri Ramakrishna's body is not a material body. It is a body made of condensed consciousness. Chid Ghana. Ghana is condensed. Chit, consciousness. Kai is body. Is it true like that? Yes, it's true. One time, just to give you One time, Sri Ramakrishna and his nephew Hriday, they were in the forest of grove of trees called Panchavati in Dakshineshwar. And Hriday was his nephew, and he was accompanying Sri Ramakrishna. They were coming towards Sri Ramakrishna's room, possibly. Yeah. Suddenly he looks at himself. It's just light. He looks at Sri Ramakrishna. Uncle, uncle, uncle. He sees even Sri Ramakrishna as light. We are not ordinary. We are not ordinary people. Saying, come, let us go to Calcutta and let us liberate everybody. And he's making such a big noise. And Sri Ramakrishna touches him. Hey, keep quiet, you rascal. Quiet. And he sees him again, the same old flesh and blood. And then he's crying, uncle, why did you do that? You got a little and you such make a big noise, and those guards of the Dakshineshwar, the temple, those guards will come running and what's happening? I go through so much experiences, I don't make a big noise about it. And then he's crying and crying and crying. So you go to Sri Ramakrishna now. Say, I don't want to be like Hriday. So let Sri Ramakrishna touch you and you'll see that you are light. As that Upanishad, Tatra Ayam Purusha Swayam Jyotir Bhava. In that state, the person becomes a light. But now we are seeing ourselves, whether we are going to have dinner or no, whatever, I don't know. So what arrangements have been made? I'm thirsty, hungry. How this thing, that spiritual light that we are, has become material. We are thinking of ourselves as material. How? Nobody has been able to explain it. So, Indian philosophy has brought out a doctrine of Maya, ignorance. You're taking one thing for another. That is why you're not seeing the real thing, you're seeing the wrong thing. You are seeing yourself as this and the world as this, and God is, there is no God. Who said? More than half the world, they don't believe in a God. Why God cannot be seen? What can be seen? We can see ourselves, we can see this world. This is Maya. This is how we are deluded. Like in the classical example of Vedanta, you are seeing the snake and getting frightened. Then you go closer and you find it is not a snake, it is a rope. It's called a Rajju Sarpanya. So just a humorous side to this. Otherwise you all get bored. There was one person who was very attracted towards some monks, and he started going and becoming friendly with those monks and all, and very nice. So he tells his friend, hey, I've been invited for a few days to go and stay in the ashram. I'm going. No, don't go. This fellow, what will you do there? Let's go out here. There's so much of fun and joy, and there's cinemas and yes. No, I'll go there. I'll go. So he goes and stays for some days. And then he comes back after his friend is asking, how do you like it? Oh, they are so nice people. So nice people, you won't believe it. But they've got one problem. Then that will say, oh, what is the problem? Day and night, they are discussing one mischievous snake is there. Somehow, this snake, what it does is, it gets into one rope and they are trying to find it. By the end of the day, they find it and they pull it out. And the next day, again, it goes back into that rope. What they are doing is they are discussing that Rajju and Sarpa. Sarpa, Rajju, Rajju, Sarpa, Sarpa. Rope, snake, snake, rope. Whole day they are discussing this. So that is their problem. So you got it. The idea is, what is the problem? They are discussing that how the rope has become the snake, or how that snake has gone into the rope, how the world is appearing as it is. And they remove that world out, and the next day again that world has gone inside. The snake has gone inside the rope. So you take it out again. Sri Ramakrishna gives another example. They say, you see some of that stagnant water in a pond, it becomes stagnant and then moss grows over it. And then you push that moss and the scum and you see the water there. Then immediately again the water comes. The scum comes and covers the water. Sri Ramakrishna actually sees that. So he's saying that Brahman shines through. You push the scum of Maya, and then he's saying, you let go, and that scum dances again and comes and covers it. This is what happens. So we are seeing this world as it's a ulta, upside down, like that tree which is roots upwards and down. So we are seeing this whole existence as this tree. We are not seeing its roots, God, the reality. So that is the meaning of this verse. Now he's trying to fine-tune it a little bit. Speaking in general terms, now he's come. Take the 7th verse, please. Mamaivangsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manashashtanindriyani prakritistani karshati. Read it once more. Mamaivangsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manashashtanindriyani prakritistani karshati. Yes, it is verily a part of me which has become the individual soul in the region of living beings. It draws to itself the sense organs, which has the mind as the 6th and which abides in nature. Mama eva angsho jiva, my part. So, Sri Ramakrishna said, try to find out who this I is. You will not be able to find the I, then you will find God. He says this, exactly this. Mama eva, my part has become the jiva. Now we are all jivas, we are individual souls. Where's the individual soul? Where does it come from? No, it's separate. In Vedanta, they will not allow that. No. What is it? Because this jiva and this, the nature is same. So it cannot have two separate realities. God is a reality and the jiva is another reality. So here he says, a part of me has become all the jivas. This is a tremendous statement, because now what is the reality in our lives? God. What about me separate? Yeah. The idea of separateness again inside there is again. So it is verily a part of mind which becoming the eternal individual soul in the region of living beings. Your soul, all our souls are eternal. It cannot be cut, it cannot be dried, it cannot be wetted, it cannot be burnt, it cannot. It is eternal. So we have the body and everything, the body, and that's a different thing. That also is recycled. We are constantly being recycled. But the jiva, the individual soul, is avinashi, indestructible. It is eternal. So that part inside us which is eternal, which is actually God. Yeah, some people say, oh my God, they're saying God is within us, we say, no? What do you mean? This is what it means. Now this idea is coming down in various ways. Oh, this inside this us, God dwells. God dwells in my heart. This is what it is. So that should give us hope, actually. But he's constantly looking at us. That's a problem. All the crazy things we are doing, he's all looking at us. No, he doesn't mind all that. Don't worry. So here it is clearly expressed. And he says, so there's another thing that happens. And this draws to itself. The individual soul draws to itself, towards itself. All the indriyas, the 5 indriyas, and the mind as a 6th towards itself. And these things are prakriti sthani. It is established in prakriti. So you have 2 entities. One is the jiva and one is the prakriti. In the 13th chapter, we have the kshetra and kshetrajna. Kshetra is field. We have field. And who knows the field? The Atman, the Jiva, knows the field. The knower of the field and the field. So what is the field? Like you throw all these seeds and then after you get a nice harvest and you tend all your plants or crops or whatever. And the field produces all these plants and crops and fruits and flowers. So that's the field. So your body and mind is the field, kshetra. And all these things we are throwing inside in the field, the seeds of our karma. Because it gives rise to the results of your karma. That's why it's called a field. So you are doing all the sowing. Like, as you sow, so shall you reap. Every action has an opposite and equal reaction. So in this field, we are busy throwing these seeds and they are growing. So that is prakriti. And this is the jiva. The jiva is here and it pulls all its sense organs towards itself, the mind does. It can pull, it can push also. So these 2 entities are there. Brahman and Maya. God and something which is not God. Yeah, an ultimate analysis, even Prakriti is found to be an illusion in the sense of you will find it's actually God only. Like you will see your own body as full of light. The whole thing is light. So what happened to your body? Ignorance has gone. Prakriti has gone off and you become. So similarly here, for us to undertake this journey, so he has brought that high truth down to the basics to try to explain it to us, your identity, and how to get back to the real nature of us. So this jiva, now they will say, okay, but if God has so many parts, then God is full of holes. Yeah. And then we hear that God is partless, avyayam. How is this? So Vedanta solves this problem it's like there's space here in this room and there's space outside also. It's one space, but the space appears to be divided, separate. Why? Because of the walls. So this one infinite God appears to have become divided into various jivas because of the body and the senses and the minds are like the upadhis. So in Vedanta it's called Ghatakasha and Mahakasha. The Akash, the space in the pot and the space outside the pot. Are they same? Yeah, it's the same. But why do you call it Ghataka? Why do you call it space in the pot? You should not. But it appears as if it's separate. So this appears as separate. God, as it were, appears as separate. And that appearance is called a jiva. Okay. Otherwise, God, if it can be cut, one part here, one big part there, a small part here, that will not do. That is no God only. God can be cut and put here. So God appears as if divided, as having parts. So yeah, we'll do this and then we'll open it up for questions. So in the region of, it is verily a part of mind which becoming the eternal individual soul in the region of living beings. So all living beings. So God has appeared as a jivas and live. That's why it's called jiva. Jiva means living. We are living. And pulls the. How does it pull? Yes, it can pull the organs, the sense organs, to itself. When it's time to pull, it pulls, and when it's time to push, it will push outside. So, and this appears, as it were, separate, and that separateness is what actually keeps us away from knowing our reality. The day you know that the jiva is part of God. That's why in Vedanta you say the jiva is Brahman. How is it possible? I'm such a small thing. And Brahman is a huge thing. The Shankaracharya in his one of his works is saying, Slokardena Pravakshami. I'll tell you in half a verse Yaduktam Grantha Kotivi, that which is spoken of by thousands of texts. Brahma Satyam, Brahman is true. Jagad Mithya, the world is false. Jiva Brahmaiva Napara, and the Jiva is nothing but the Brahman. Now, this is something which we cannot handle. It's just impossible. So Vedanta says there are two things that stop us from it. One is asambhavana vritti. It is impossible. Asambhav. Oh, no. It's just not possible. How can I be that ocean? I'm a small drop of water. I can understand I'm a small drop of water. It is impossible. Asambhavana vritti. Ignorance takes two. This ajnana takes two forms. Asambhavana is impossible. No. They'll closer here. No. And viparita bhavana. They will think opposite. First, they'll say it's impossible. And then they will think in terms of the opposite nature. I am a small person. What do I know all these things? No. I cannot believe that. So once you cut these two things, the impossibility and the opposite way of thinking, then you come down to the real, you can say, existence. Till that time, you have to practice spiritual disciplines. Impossible, no. God is here. We can talk about it. God is here within us. You think about it and say, no. There was once my friend who was studying to be a doctor, cardiac surgeon. Long time back, we were young. He was slightly, I think, older. He was older then. So he's saying, so what happened? How did he was not yet cutting. And in those days, he had open heart surgery, They had to cut up the whole thing, open that rib cage, and then, thank God, medical advances are good. We don't have to cut that person out, very rarely. So he was on his round, I think. Yeah, he was on his round, and then just a day before, he was in that team. That surgeon had cut to the sternum, opened the rib cage, and done that bypass or whatever. And they had closed it. So that patient had revived, and an old man, middle-aged man. Then he looks at they're saying, I want to ask you something, haltingly. When the operation was taking place, did you see my Atma? So, and he was a Nastika, that is, he was an atheist. No. Listen. We do not see, I did not see anything. No, there's no Atma in Atma. Now, what happened was, when he heard, oh, no Atma, and he was recovering from that surgery, it's a very traumatic. Suddenly, all his vital signs were kind of becoming dangerous, going down. Oh my God. And so his heart was beeping nicely, and then so somehow these guys, what happened in all this? Next day he was asking, And this is he was telling us this is what happened and all. Then I told him that no, there is no Atma and all. I said, you're a fool. Because of that, that fellow had believed all these years that inside in the heart there is an Atman. And now you go tell him that there is no Atman. So his sugar has gone up, his pulse rate has gone up, and this and that, everything, all the whole body is like kind of in a shock type. You should go and tell a fellow, so what do I tell him? I never saw it. So no, you go and tell. That time we had learnt a little. We had read Swamiji's books and a little. That Atman is very, very, very subtle, sukshma, very ati sukshma. So you cannot see with the eyes. So he said, So he had gone next day and he saw that patient almost all is gone. Then he looked at then he said, Atma there, it's very, very subtle. It cannot be seen by the eyes. It is there inside, but doctors cannot see. We don't have that instruments. Oh, those very words made that patient all right. I mean, he started becoming normal. There was this pain and this and there, all these things are there. But his vital signs were slowly coming to stability. So you're saying that friend of mine is saying, oh my God, see the words. Just your words have such an impact. That fellow has heard all his life that there's an Atman sitting. Angushta matra purusha jyotiriva dhumaka. That the Purusha, the Atman, the size of a thumb, is seated in the hearts of all beings. It is like bright, without smoke. And you say there is no Atman. What do we live for then? Immediately, when you put that words, okay, no. It is extremely subtle. It cannot be seen because it's not a material entity. Then this also has to be understood. Okay. And once it is understood, it's very subtle that this eyes cannot see. Na tatra chakshureva pashyati. The eyes cannot, etc., cannot see it. This is what it is. So, drishyatetva grahya buddhi. It is seen by a sharp, one-pointed mind which has been purified. Drishyatetva grahya buddhya sukshmaya sukshmadarshvi. The very fine perception by the fine buddhi can enable you to catch this Atman. This Atman, the Jiva, or this God inside. Otherwise, it's not. So, that's why these spiritual practices are necessary for us to go back inside. And as it goes back inside more and more and more and more, you will find that it is getting better. Your perceptions are getting more and more clear. As you go inside, you will find that is how it appears. Like Shri Ramakrishna gives the example. So when you are going towards the ocean, from a distance you can hear the sound. And as you go towards the ocean, then you can hear the sound and you can get the cool breeze also. And the more closer you go to the ocean, the more cooler the breeze becomes. And then finally, you see the ocean. And then after you see the ocean, you touch it. This So there are these stages. Sri Ramakrishna also gives the example of there are some who have heard of milk. There are some who have seen milk. But there are some who have heard, seen, and drank milk. They are the Vijnanis. So somehow we have to first undertake this idea. You have to start with this idea. The Upanishads say, Asti iti eva upalabdhavya. It has to be experienced in your mind as asti iti. It exists. You cannot say it does not exist. First it is asti iti eva upalabdhavya. That is, it exists. Once you have this pinned, it exists. Tattva bhava prasid. Then it reveals itself. If you start with, I don't know, maybe so and so says it is of this type, that type. No. You must be sure that this is what exists. And then you start. Your spiritual practices will take on more meaning and more power when you say it exists. Sri Ramakrishna says God exists and can be seen. With that conviction, then you start practicing. And then when you start practicing, then what happens? Otherwise, people come and say, Maharaj, my mind is so restless. So much restless. We know why it is restless. Have that conviction, your mind will go towards that conviction. So this is the first principle in spiritual life, that you're convinced that this is what it is. And these words of the Bhagavad Gita is nothing but they're trying to convince you that God, which is dead, unknowable. We just talked about God cannot be seen unknowable. No. He is knowable. He is more than known. So this God can be known. But Maya cannot be known. It is constantly shifting. Because it is ignorance. You can never know Maya. You can never know the external world. That's why we have started with how much of the world do you know that you can say that I would have created a better world? It's impossible. You can never say for sure, I know everything about this. There will always be some part which is still unknown to you. But God is not something like that. God can be known directly. So even in the other chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, it is there. Vedyam, he is to be known. He is the known. He is a knower. He can be known. So direct perception. So you must have that. It exists. It can be known. And once this is taken up, then if you live your life any way you like, it will be pulled into that you can say corner, that point. It can be known. Why? There are so many people who have seen it, who experienced it. So it will come to. So you may go about here, there, but you will come back to it. Rajamaz one time was, Swami Brahmananda was annoyed with Sri Ramakrishna. And then he was supposed to massage Sri Ramakrishna with a bottle of oil. He takes a bottle of oil and flings it and it breaks. And then he walks out to the. As he's walking out of the room and going out of that temple garden, he goes to the gate and he couldn't move. So when he turned to come back, he could walk, come back, but he couldn't go out. Then he had to come back, poor fellow, what to do? Sri Ramakrishna says, "What? I have made a circle here. You cannot step out of this." Same thing happens with those who are devoted to God. He'll throw a circle around you. You cannot cross that line. You'll go and then you'll have to come back. So like Sri Ramakrishna gives another example, like a calf. Like in the villages, you see one calf is tied to a kind of pole, and it can move around that much only. Only that much it can move. It cannot go further. So once you understand God has become the Jiva, not only that, He's there. So you keep on doing all your work and everything, but you'll come back. He'll pull you back. This is the secret of spiritual life. The other part, the other secret. When you start, then Sri Ramakrishna said, you take one step towards God, God takes 10 steps towards it. You are doing, God keeps on approaching you. So he kind of ties you, say, hey, this fellow, this Jiva, the part of me only, don't worry. Don't let him go around in other people's areas. Bring him back. The spiritual aspirant will experience this. Always. This is a universal experience. Like God looks up to you. He will not let you step out. You step out, pull you back in. So that's why this Prakriti now, which is the Jiva, which is enmeshed in it, like that snake, which is somehow got into the rope, and then you have to pull it out again. And again it gets in, and again it pulls out. So these two then slowly become separated. As it becomes separated, you come to the end of your journey. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. To open it for questions or whatever they say. No questions.
Yeah. Sorry, I have one question.
Yeah.
So, the consciousness which is inside us, that's what you have explained as the Ghatakas, right? And the worldwide consciousness, not the worldwide, eternal consciousness, that's the Mahakas. So, our body here is acting like the walls. Now, the one which you say, like how to transcend that and understand that we are the one with the, how do I do that?
That's what the whole thing was.
Yes.
For 1.5 hours, I've been talking about that. So the question was, those who have not been able to hear it online, so there is a space in the pot. Ghat is called a ghat. And Akash. Akash is space. So if there's space inside the spot, there's also space outside. Space is everywhere. So it is one space that is appearing as different because of the various pots. Some pots are small, like that. Some pots are big. Some pots are thin. Some pots are short. All different types of pots. How to will? There's only one way. Break the pot. Break it into break that illusion that you are a gut, that you are a pot. Know that you are that space. How to know it? That's what the whole thing has been. We've been telling you that this, you are the jiva, you are the jiva, you are the jiva, everything. Suddenly it's saying, suddenly, not the jiva, like the jiva is, you are the body. Everybody tells you. You open the internet, you open the YouTube, the television, they're all telling you, they're all selling you the idea that you are a body. You need this aftershave, you need this clothes, you need this. Everything is telling you that you're the body. And then there are some things like, okay, you have a body, and then that workings of the body gives rise to something called the mind. Oh, all right. Nobody tells you you're the part of God. So you have to start thinking that I'm not the pot. I am that space in the pot. And then once you know that, oh, there's a space in the pot, obviously, like there's a space inside this room. And then you find, oh, the same space is there in that room and in that house and outside also. There's only one space. It appears as if divided. So what is that? Knowledge. Now, how to get this knowledge? Like I said, now that you have heard and read this, that there is something called the jiva, which is actually God in this form. Then you start thinking and rethinking and over it, analyze it. Then you think, I'm not the body, I'm not a pot, I'm that jiva, which is nothing but Brahman or Ishvara. So that needs spiritual. This knowledge will not flash immediately. It does in the mind that's pure and the mind that tremendously longs to have a vision of God, it flashes immediately. But generally, we ask people to keep on slowly, keep on practicing spiritual disciplines with this idea. It exists. And as you slowly go. Yeah, Sri Ramakrishna sometimes used to say, yeah, keep on doing, discern between the real and the unreal, and etc., etc. And then slowly you will progress. At times you say, he used to say, there's a song, Banata Banjai. Slowly go about, my brother, you'll attain that. Sri Ramakrishna said, what is this? Gradually, now. I want to see God now. If you have that intensity, you can see it. That intensity is required. So, Ghatakas, Patakas, Matakas, and Mahakash. Maha is a great space. Now we know there's only one space. And once we know it, these small upadhis, they are the work of Maya. They are appearance. So the one appears to be divided. That's what the whole thing.
Swami, I have a question on the same note. Do any of our scriptures ask the question as to why the consciousness of Brahman needs to replicate itself into, jivas? Is it, why have Maya? And is it a child that, that's playing with itself, a very lonely child? I don't know. I mean, do any scriptures answer that?
This is something that also, why did the whole thing start? Isn't it? Why did God, he's saying, was there a need? God does not have, if God has needs, then what kind of God is there? God has no desires. So why Maya? Maya itself is time, space, and causation. That is, the why exists only in Maya. And God is beyond Maya. You cannot ask that question, why there? Because there is no Maya there. Maya is only here. So the question of why, how, what, when can come only here in when you are trying to search. So Bhagavan Buddha said these are imponderables. There are some questions which have no answers. You cannot have, why did you say? What do you mean why? A person who has seen God, he doesn't ask why. For him, there's no why. Suppose, okay, suppose you're going to the ocean, and in the Pacific Ocean, you see so many waves. Do you go to ask why? Oh, why is there so many waves? The nature of the ocean to have waves. So the nature of Brahman, that Saguna Brahman, is to have these waves, this Maya. But Sri Ramakrishna at one point of time, he's saying, when I was sitting to do puja, I saw the image made of consciousness, the puja vessels made of consciousness, the floor, the door sill, the walls, and everything made of consciousness. So for him, there was no why. He's seen everything as consciousness. So this question, why, happens only in ignorance. So again, Buddha says, like suppose somebody is hit by an arrow. Does that person say, who shot me? Is it a mistake or is it an enemy? Is the arrow poisonous or something like that? No. You don't keep on. Oh, you take it out. So similarly, you don't ask why, when, how, for whom. You remove the ajnana, ignorance, and then you find there is only. You know that there's a song in Sri Ramakrishna is saying, Sakali tumari icha moy gotara tumi. Tumi karma, lokir bole ami kori. Everything is your will, O Tara. You are self-willed. You do your work, but people say, I'm doing it. Sakali tumari icha moy tara tumi. So this is what it is. Who are you? There was in the gospel, there's one incident. So Sri Ramakrishna is saying that it is all will of God, Ishvara Richa. So one devotee is saying, yeah, it is his will, but it is death to us. So Sri Ramakrishna looks at, but who are you? Who are you? Very good. So that is what. Who are you? Everything is. God is doing everything. So why God is doing that? None of your business. God will say, I'm doing it on my own free will. What's that to? So at one point of time, that is the Why? Because you're thinking that there's a law of causation. God will do this because of this. No. It is, God is beyond the laws of causation. Okay? Because if God is within the laws of causation, then you'll have trouble. So Mathur Babu one time was, even God has to work under his laws. So Shri Ram, what do you mean? I say, he who has made the laws can break the laws. No. Yeah. And then you say, the white China rose cannot be on a red China rose. You cannot have a white and red China rose on one branch. The next day, Sri Ramakrishna, he saw the branch and he plucked it and said, "Sure, see? So, God cannot be working under laws. We are jivas, we can work under laws. The laws of time, space, and causation. What is causation? A thought arises. Okay. When you see a thought arises, it has to be in time. It has to be in time. And arises, what do you mean? Has to be within space. That thought comes down and changes into another thought. So that is the laws of causation. So time, space, and causation, desh, kala, nimitta, they are not three things separate. They are one thing. That's why Maya is called time, space, causation. So all movements and all these things are within Maya. God is beyond that. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.